guys, I apologize. This was a previously recorded video, and you will see from my hair that this was recorded a minute ago. But anyways, please help me welcome this awesome woman of God. She is the founder of Queens for Christ. Okay, she is a mentor. She is an awesome woman of God that so many look up to. She is a wife. She is an awesome mother. And she is an author of a book called Brokenness Unveiled, which you can get today if you'd like, okay? She is an educator, and she has so much to offer, so much wisdom, so much strength, so much from her testimony, and just in general from her spiritual walk that we all can glean from, that we all can gain something from. So please help me welcome Miss Courtney Kelly Johnson.
What's up, you guys? Come on in, my sunshines. I pray all is well with you and your families. I pray all has been held together by the grace and power of God over everything going on within the world with the pandemic and all of that. So you can see here that I have a special guest with me. She is no stranger in my life. She's an amazing sister in love. She's an amazing mentor and an awesome example to a lot of people that I know. So today, the topic that we're going to be talking about is goal diggers, practical ways to pursue dreams, goals, and aspirations. And let me go ahead and plug in right here. If you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button, hit that little bell for all my notifications so you will know when I upload a video, okay? And be free to comment or tell us anything that you'd like to hear, any topics, any questions that you may have. Feel free to add that down in the comments. We will be looking at that if you guys have anything that you'd like to add. So I am not going to tell all her business, but I am going to introduce to you Miss Courtney Kelly Johnson so she can tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney Johnson, and I am from Florence, South Carolina. I am married to Brittany's brother, the one and only Joshua Johnson. And we currently reside in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we have one dog and one baby boy, and life is good. And I think I may answer some of the other questions a little bit later.
Yeah, so also, she probably wasn't going to say this initially, but she is an author. She has written a book that is awesome for all women, whether your testimony is the same or not. She wrote a book. What is your book called?
Brokenness Unveiled.
Okay, I wish I had my book with me today, but I do not. I left it in Florence. But that is an amazing book. She has a lot of great things in that book that tells a little about her testimony and basically gives advice to young women and anybody, women of all ages that may have gone through that, or even if you can find something to pull from that can add to your story or that can help you, encourage you, uplift you. That is a great book. I admonish you to go get it, purchase it. Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon.
Okay, great. So yes, and you can follow Courtney on Instagram, and your Instagram account is
Queen_CKJ.
Okay, great. So she has information about her book on there, and you are also over an organization that I'm a part of. I'm so grateful to be a part of, and your organization is
Queens for Christ.
Okay.
And we are on Facebook and Instagram, and both of those are just Queens for Christ with the number 4.
So Queens for Christ is basically an organization that, like, where did you basically get your inspiration for, like, starting that? Like, what was the purpose? Like, what did God give you concerning, like, starting that?
So back in 2015 is when we started Queens for Christ, March of 2015. And the inspiration behind that was just essentially I wanted to try to be what I felt like I needed growing up in the church and trying to be a young woman to be saved. So just an outlet for encouragement, to be around other like-minded young women that, but trying to strive and live the same type of lifestyle. At the same time, doing community service, just deepening our knowledge of the word and just, doing fun things and trying to be safe, because sometimes that can have a negative connotation. And so it started with me trying to gear it towards young women. So I think it used to be like maybe 12 to 18 is where we first started. But now, over time, over life experiences and the leading of the Lord, we now are more so adult women. And so right now, most of the things that we host and things that we have are really for 21 and up.
Okay.
Not that young women are not welcome, because they still are.
Yeah.
But typically, like, our book talks and things that we've been doing recently are for adult women, 21 older, and the older crowd now. So that's where we are.
Yeah, that's great. And I think this is awesome for anybody to be a part of. It is not connected to any church. You do not have to be a part of any type of reformation. It's all women coming together to really fellowship and just bounce things off of each other, especially with the book talk. I really enjoyed the book talk recently. So go ahead and like that and share that for other people, other women that may be in need of that type of empowerment and that uplifting, throughout the weeks or months to come. We'd love to have you a part. So today I'm going to go ahead and get into these questions. And I chose Courtney because I feel, and I've already said, I feel like she's a great inspiration and an example to a lot of young women, a lot of people just in general, young people from ages 20 and up, and even younger than that. A lot of people look up to her, even those who are older than her, to be somebody that is very accomplished, very well balanced in her life. And I'm sure she'll say that, like, she's not perfect and she doesn't have it all together, but in the eyes of people, like, Courtney is really a good person to, like, really look to for anything when you want to have a model to go by as far as, like, navigating through life, whether it be spiritually or naturally. She's an awesome example. So, like, the first question that I have for you pertaining to our topic is how or where did you start when you identified a goal in mind that you wanted to accomplish?
So hopefully I answer correctly, but I think it's kind of like that gut feeling or desire that I can't really shake over time. And so a lot of my goals and desires didn't just kind of pop up, but there were things that kind of like I would feel and then try to brush it off, and it just wouldn't let me go, and I tried to just let it go. A lot of them I tried to just let go, and I just kept pushing it. So I think a lot of it was just kind of something innate or internal, based off of experiences or things like that. And like when it comes to my career, I didn't go to college to do what I'm doing. And so I think just, again, trying to fight against something that was just in me already is what kind of detoured me, but I still made it into the field of education. And so it's just kind of like an innate feeling or a strong desire. And I think, like, when people are setting goals, you'll know what needs to be your goal because it's something that just keeps coming back. So even if you try to take a different route, some kind of way, a piece of that is still in your current goal. So it's just a longing desire that I would have. That's kind of where it would start.
So you're in education. So, like, what exactly do you do in education now, and, like, what credentials do you hold?
Okay, so currently I am a high school curriculum facilitator for science. So I support high school science teachers in the county that I work for. I support 12 schools. And so that's all the science departments. That's who I support, those teachers, whether that's with instruction, curriculum, lots of data, talking about test scores. Our focus is biology because that's the EOC in North Carolina. So that's kind of where I am there. So that's at the central office. So I guess that would be considered a central office administrator, which I don't see that myself as that, but I guess that's the technical label. And I have a bachelor's of science from College of Charleston, a master's in education from Liberty University, and a doctorate in educational leadership from Gardner-Webb University. So those are my credentials, along with, special certifications that I've had, I've obtained in the classroom to try to further my knowledge. So that's where I currently am. That's my current position.
Okay, so, like, how long was that process? Like, once you, like, kind of shifted your focus for, like, going a different direction as far as your career, like, how long was that process when you, like, I guess, I don't know if you, like, switched majors or whatever to, like, get your bachelor's, master's, and your doctorate? Like, how long was that process for you?
So I will say I have been in school since I started school. 2020, December 2020 is when I finished my doctorate degree, which is my terminal degree. So I have been in school since then, and I am happy to have a break, even though I'm kind of itching to do something else. But so my bachelor's took 4 years, and while I was going to school to be a doctor, I wanted to be an OBGYN, and so my degree was health promotions, and I had pre-med kind of as a minor. It wasn't really a true minor at College of Charleston, but so while I was there, I worked at MUSC as a volunteer in various departments, trying to find my place until I realized, like, I'm just forcing something that wasn't. And even though I still have keen interest in, women's reproductive health and birth and all that is still very much interesting to me. I just don't think it was God's will for me to practice medicine in that way. So I didn't make the decision until like the end of my sophomore year, beginning of my junior year. So I was like halfway through.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so I finished my degree, which is not related to education. And when I graduated from college, I tried to work at Carolina Hospital and I hated it. Again, still trying to force something. I got accepted to like nursing school and all of that, but I just didn't want to go. And so I started working at Carolina Hospital, and actually one of my distant cousins told me about an alternative licensure program to be a teacher. I went through that in North Carolina and landed a position at Olympic High School, which is where I taught for my first 5 years. And it was just, it was just where it was supposed to be. When I was in college, I actually took a TA position, and that's kind of where I started realizing like, this is what I do naturally. And so that's kind of what helped me stop fighting again to be a teacher, because I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. My mother's a teacher. I do not want to be a teacher. My whole life I'm like, I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a doctor. So that,
That's crazy, because like for me, I initially took the route of like going for nursing. And I was like, my mom's a nurse. I'm like, my brother, he's going for engineering. He was really smart. Like my dad was an engineer. So I'm just like, I can be a nurse. Like, I don't want to just have some off the wall degree that's just like, nobody in my family holds it. So I was just like, that's interesting to me that like you saw your mom like be in education and you really didn't want to take that path initially, but it was just kind of like something that was for you.
It was for me.
But for me, it was like obviously having like, I started in nursing, really loved it, wanted to do it, and it just didn't work out for me. So like I switched. But even now, like I'm still in healthcare, so it's like I don't feel like it was wasted.
Right.
So yeah, that's good. That's good. So like other than like your career, like what else have you like accomplished in your life? Like what do you feel like that you have to show for now that you can feel like or say that you're proud of? Like, and that could be naturally, spiritually, anything, like across the spectrum. Like everything that you've accomplished, the point that you've reached in your life right now, like what do you feel like you can say that you're proud of? And that like you've accomplished like your goals.
So outside of my career, I guess that's kind of difficult. A lot of my goals have been based around that. Getting my doctorate by the age of 30 was a big goal that I set for myself, and I did that. So I'm grateful that God allowed me to do that. I am, it was never my goal to write a book, but that just kind of happened. So that's something that I am proud of as well, even though I need to do a better job of like pushing it. But I am proud that I did that. And naturally, I'm proud of my family, so being married and starting a family, being a new mother, that is something that I'm very proud of. And the only other things I think I feel like accomplished, I'm just very pleased and pray that God continues to allow me to remain disciplined. So although there are some things I feel like I haven't attained or I've set out and it didn't happen, I have been consistent and very disciplined in anything I set out to do. And that is something that, that's a challenge. And so I think a big piece of some of the things that I've been able to accomplish, of course, is because of God, but He has allowed me to be disciplined, and that has really like driven a lot of things in my life. And so that's really the only other things that I'm proud of. I'm just proud of being disciplined, proud of my family, and I was able to finish my degrees by 30. So now
so like what steps did you take in like building your discipline, like in pursuing anything?
I think, when I think back to it, my father has a big piece in that. He's a very disciplined man, and it was almost like instilled, like, not him saying you're going to be disciplined, but just the habits that he taught us, a lot of the things that he required of, us to do growing up. I think that just kind of instilled that discipline, and I just have an intrinsic motivation to want to do well for myself. And so, not wanting to be a quitter and not wanting to give up, that kind of helps me continue to be disciplined. And it's hard sometimes. It's hard to be committed. Like even like with Queens for Christ, trying to do certain things, like I always think and rethink. Like, is this something I want to do? Because it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And I just hold commitment in such high regard to if I don't finish the commitment, I would beat myself up. And so that negative feeling that I feel when I don't do something I said I was going to do, I think me being disciplined has a lot with trying to avoid feeling like that. And so that just keeps pushing me, that, you know, keep pushing me, being disciplined, gotta do it. I said I was gonna do it. I want to be a woman of my word. Let me do it. Let me do it. So that's just kind of what keeps me going, is myself.
I think that's one thing that I can point out about you, that I can say I see, is like the discipline. Because like some things I'll just be like, and I can say from a spiritual side too, like I'll just be like, certain things dealing with like Queens for Christ, and like how you would share with us like how you kind of like built yourself up like in prayer, like how you kind of like made yourself like, you know, get up a certain time in the morning to pray and do certain things like that. Like for me, I'm just like, wow, like that takes a special person, because it's not easy to do certain things and like, you know, set out something for yourself and actually follow through with it. And it's not because like, you know, people are bad people or they are, you know, they don't have a pure heart concerning certain things. Because sometimes our heart, you know, in our heart, we desire to do certain things or, you know, follow through with certain plans, but it just doesn't happen because we don't discipline ourselves as such. So like for me, that's a big thing that I can say that I glean from. Like I really want to get to that place. So like out of everything that we've discussed, like, and can you, like, from the goals that you've accomplished and things that you set out for yourself, like, can you actually say that like your life right now, like you're living a dream? Like you're a mom, like you know, you really love on Joshy, you really love on him, and your husband, like considering your testimony. I'm not sure if you want to share that, but considering that and like everything that you've like gotten in life, like do you really feel like you're living your dream?
I would say for the most part, yes. Naturally, yes. I feel like my family, you know, my husband and all that, overcoming that testimony of that brokenness of thinking that you're going to do something a certain way, you know, having your own plans and your own path, you know, and you get there and
get
God's
the book,
like,
you guys, get the book.
God's like, hold
get
up,
the book,
turn around.
You
know, this is not it. And learning to trust and obey and glean from that. I would say that piece of my life is definitely a dream. As far as my career, I really, I haven't reached my career goals. And so I know outside looking in that can like, oh, she's, you know, at the central office, but that's not my goal. Like my goal is to be a high school principal. And it seems as though like I'll get so close, like I can be an assistant principal pool here, and everywhere I go I can get so close, but I have not landed in AP position, which is a requirement for the next step. And so sometimes, you know, you can get down and you're like, okay, well maybe this is not for me, but I'm gonna keep trying because the desire hasn't gone away. And so when the desire's there, I have a hard time believing that it's just something that I'm just making up, because it keeps on, even though I pray like, Lord, if it's not your will, you know, don't let it happen, but the desire is still there. So I'm gonna keep trying, you know, until I get there. And one thing getting this position has taught me and helped me to refocus is that a lot of times in life we think reaching goals and accomplishing things is linear, meaning it only goes one way. Like if I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna go to undergrad, I'm gonna go to med school, I'm gonna land a position. But sometimes there's certain lessons that we have to learn, you know, and certain experiences that we have to have so that when we reach our end goal, we're whole and we're prepared for that. And so to be a principal, you become a teacher, you know, you get that master's, you get that certification to be an admin, and you become an AP, and then you become a principal. Like that's the linear way. But God is just taking me another way, you know, because this is the second time of me being in this type of role. And I've been in my career 9 years now. And so, you know, for some people it only takes 3 years and they can become an assistant principal 5 years. And so I go through the whole process of like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like I've got the credentials, I have, you know, the necessary experience. But maybe there's something bigger. Maybe there's something larger. Like maybe I'm supposed to start a school, and that's why I have to see things from a district level. I don't know, and I've stopped questioning that. But I'm not living my dream career goal yet. But I'll get there, or wherever I'm supposed to be, I'll get there. But you know, when you see me get an AP position, just know I'm happy now.
she done got it. So, like, do you feel like possibly God has you in this place right now in your career to like help those around you, like spiritually, like to just be a light where you are currently? Or do you feel that it's just kind of like like Jonathan Mint said, like just steps and stops, just something that just you're here just to learn and do what you have to do so you can go on to the next destination?
I think it's a mixture of both, because I think any placement is a placement for us to let our light shine. So trying to figure out who in particular I'm supposed to shine that light on, I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do just try to make sure wherever I go, like I'm like, God, walk with me, be with me, so that I can be a light, be a refreshment, be a help, be a support. But it may just be an alternate route. Like I really have just come to the place of contentment that my route to becoming a principal is not linear. It's just not going to look like everyone else's, and
that's okay.
And that's okay. So I'm here, and it's nice to be able to see, because when you're in a building, you only see things in that school building at that school level. But when you work in the central office and you're serving different schools, you're seeing things kind of from a top-down approach. So you're seeing a lot of other pieces that I really think is only going to benefit me when I do get back in the school level. I kind of understand the systems and such, and maybe maybe I will be able to start a school one day, and I would need to know all these pieces. So I even though it may not be comfortable, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
So, like, what advice would you give people watching now? What advice would you give them concerning starting and following through with their goals and their plans that they desire for themselves?
Always start with God. Commit thy works to the Lord, and He will establish your thoughts. So commit whatever it is that you're doing. Whatever it is that you're doing, start with God, and you'll end with Him, and He'll be with you throughout. Commit the works to Him. Like, take the ideas, take the desire to Him. But if it's a burning desire in you, it's there for a reason. Like, you didn't place it there, God placed it there. And once you have that, seek research or mentorship if possible. Seek out opportunities to, like, immerse yourself in whatever that goal is prior to just going all in, because you may go all in and realize this is not for me, but I could have had the opportunity to see that. So, like, I'm happy in undergrad that I volunteered at the hospital all 4 years, because otherwise I would have just kept going, and then boom, I get medical school and I'm like, I hate it here. So it's nice to immerse yourself in things before, and don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no dumb question. There's no stupid question. So I tell my students, the only dumb question is the one that's not asked. So if you don't ask, how are you supposed to know? And in the spiritual note, the Bible said we have not because we ask not. Right. So we won't ever know until we ask. And so immerse yourself in it, research, experience it, make yourself a plan. Make sure it's realistic. Think about your life circumstances. Think about what's going on right now. When is a realistic time frame? You got to set small goals. You can't just go all out. I knew I wanted to have a doctorate degree by the age of 30, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know what school I was going to go to. I got denied by 3 schools to even get into a program. But you just keep going. Like, you just keep pushing, because a detour is just a different route. It's not a stop sign. It's just when you're on the highway and there's a detour because there's some construction going on, it doesn't mean you got to turn around and go back where you were. It just means you take a different way to get where you're going. And so just remember that, because there's going to be obstacles. Nothing worth having is easy. There's going to be something to try to push you back. There's going to be a test of your faith. But once you've committed it to the Lord, He's giving you the okay. You have researched, asked the questions. You're certain that this is what you want to do. You're putting yourself out there. You've got your plan. You're working it. You're staying focused despite all of that. Just keep going. Keep pushing. Because it's not easy. And if it was easy, they say it's cliche, but everyone would do it. So clearly it's not easy because everybody's not doing it. And one thing is just really being sure of yourself. Like, I know God gave me this desire. I know God gave me this goal, and I know He's with me. So no matter where I am in the process, if I have to pause and take a 3-year break, if I have to apply to 10 schools because this one wouldn't accept me, if I'm starting a business and the first go around didn't go as I wanted, and I need to just stop, reach out to somebody with some experience, regather and start again, it's not a stop sign. It's just a detour. And it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. And so you just got to remain confident that, He that has begun a good work in me, He's faithful. He's going to finish it. He's going to finish it. If that's His will, you know, he's going to finish it. But it's easy to get discouraged. But that's why it's also important to pace yourself and not set such lofty goals. So you can have a big goal, but in the middle of that big goal, have some, you know, other smaller goals that you can attain, because we do need that feedback and that, like, yes, I did this, I can keep going. Otherwise we'll just get discouraged. But remain focused on that goal and just keep going. Just do not give up. Like, do not give up. I mean, really just don't give up.
So what scripture, like, did you always like think to yourself, like, you know, in moments where you wanted to give up? Like, what scripture was like ringing in your mind?
I am more than a conqueror, you know, through Christ Jesus. Like, I can do all things that he set out to me. There's nothing impossible, but I'm more than a conqueror. Like, this may seem like it's conquering me, or this may seem like it's defeating me, but, you know, he's within me. The greatest power is within me. So there's nothing that can conquer me. There's nothing that can defeat me, no matter how I feel, no matter how it looks. Like, he's in me. So he's greater than the whole world. I literally have that on the inside of me. I have that fighting for me and cheering me on and pushing me and backing me. Like, that's my referral. That's my reference.
That's an advantage.
God. You know what I'm saying? That's my reference. So it doesn't matter, you know, anything else. Just constantly remind myself, like, I'm more than a conqueror. I can do this because he is within me. And just remember that it's never about me. And, you know, because that's when we'll have to go through a test and trial to get knocked down a notch if we don't remain humble. But, you know, I'm more than a conqueror and I can do this. Like, if he started it and he told me to do it, he's not just going to leave me. He's not going to leave me. And so that's just kind of what I've reminded myself, you know, among many others scriptures, but that kind of pieces it together, especially in those hard moments where it just looks like, you know, just give up, girl. Nobody even going to know, you know, nobody's even going to know. Just, but no, I'm more than a conqueror.
Okay, well, you guys, I hope this video has been a blessing to you. I know it has been to me, just sitting here and taking in everything that Courtney has had to say. So if you'd like to comment, make sure you comment below if you have any questions, even topics that you'd like us to discuss in the future. And I will definitely have Courtney back in the future. So I know you all will be looking forward to that. So you guys, my sunshines, I pray all will be well with you until next time. See you again.